Hello and welcome to Pokemon TCG Daily, my first deck analysis video. Fellow trainers, I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. I am so happy I'm finally putting out this video. I've been wanting to do this one for weeks, and I'm glad I'm feeling ready to show my Zoroark and Lycanroc GX deck a little bit. So as this is the first one, just kind of how I'm going to go about these videos in particular. I'm just going to talk about the deck that I put together, my thoughts and feelings about it, what drew me to making this deck, and just kind of my overall thoughts about it. I'm going to go through every single card. I'm going to also include the link to the description of every single card I have here in the description down below. But let's go ahead and jump into this. And for the first card, how I decided I want to do this one, I wanted to talk about Zoroark GX just a little bit. What a fantastic card this is. Personally, I think this is an example of what a perfect card can be. It has a great HP, it has a really solid attack, and it has a fantastic ability. And what I love about this card so much in cards like this is that it just pairs well with every single deck out there, whether you're running Lycanroc, a Devoured GX, a Golisopod GX. It just gives every deck that little extra oomph. Zoroark's just been one of my favorite Pokemon in general, so I was really happy to see this card. It'll be a great card to use in the years to come. We'll get at least one more year of it in standard, and it's doing really well in expanded as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and start from the top over here and go through every single card that I have here right now. So in this deck, I am running 3 Tapu Leles. Love it or hate it, you gotta have at least one Tapu Lele in a competitive deck right now. If you're looking out for prices and stuff, just check eBay regularly. My tips for saving money is, these 3 here right here, it took me nearly half a year to save money and get all of them. Normally I would have not even gone for the full art one, but that full art one there, I just got lucky, and I think I got it for around, I think it was less than $50. I just got really lucky on an auction bid, so things like that do happen. But I won't say too much about that one because you kind of know what that is. I've already said what I have to say about Zoroark GX. The basic is using the Zorua from Shining Legends. 2 of these I actually pulled from my daily trading card booster pack openings. I'm really happy to be using some of them. There's also another one from Breakthrough, but I went ahead and put this one in here because other ones I'm not running any dark energy, so it made more sense to include this one on here. But just a cute looking little fella. And then I'll really start talking about go in depth with some other guys. So Octillery, Remoraid. Abyssal Hand is a fantastic ability, and there's a couple people I've talked to that are like, you have so many Zoroark GXs, do you really need to have Octillery in here? Well, at one point I might have switched him out, but now with Ultra Prism came out, there is a specific reason why I have him in here now, and that is because a Sylveon GX that just got released. I actually pulled one out of a booster pack a couple weeks ago that was absolutely fantastic, but it's because Sylveon GX can actually shut down a lot of my Pokemon. It can completely shut down my Zoroark GX's trade ability. So with this, if I have him out on the field, I can still keep getting pulls and just kind of keep burning through my deck. Will I switch him out? Oh yeah, because he will be rotating out later this year, and then I might replace him with Oranguru or something like that. But I really do like to have him for that situation. I've used him plenty of times, and it's just it's a pretty solid card. So that's kind of my reasoning for him. And then over here we have Lycanroc GX. This card for me is an absolute beast. To be perfectly honest, the one thing I wish with him, I wish he had 210 HP because that would help me out with so many different decks for his weaknesses and just give him that little bit of extra oomph. But 1 fighting energy, and you can throw a double colors on here. 110 per attack is not too shabby at all. And then dangerous Rogue is just a phenomenal attack. It can throw people off super quickly. You can get up to 250 damage on an opponent's Pokemon. The biggest downside with Lycanroc GX is that his weakness is to grass-type Pokemon, so you gotta be careful with your Golisopod GXs and Tapu Lele GXs that are out there right now. But my approach to this is, within the first to second turn of a match, and this is how I approach at least, you will know if your opponent's playing that because they're gonna be throwing out their Wind Pods, trying to get out their other guys to evolve. And then this is my strategy. If I'm playing against a grass-type attack, I try not to put him out on the bench unless I absolutely have him, and I rely more on my Zoroark GX. That is my biggest strategy if I have to do that, because I don't have to have him out. That's why I have my Zoroark GXs, and also this one I forgot to mention too, his Bloodthirsty Eye, fantastic ability. The Rockruffs I'm using are the ones from Guardian Rising. There was a couple of the regional decks I've seen players use. There was a promo one that was a little different, but honestly, this Rockruff's corner attack, which prevents your opponent's ability to be switch out Pokemon during the next turn, is absolutely fantastic. The only way then they can retreat, then they're either forced to use a supporter card like Guzma, or they have to have the Zoroark from Breakthrough stand an ability to switch out. So I absolutely love corner. I have used plenty of times early in games to kind of give me an extra edge or something. So it's a very solid attack. The only thing I couldn't fit in my camera right here, I am working 10 energies. I'm using 2 the strong energies, 4 double colorless, and 5 strength fighting energy. Yeah, I think that's right. But yeah, I have 10 energy right there. Let's go ahead and go to the top. I did not know about this Mewtwo. I totally stole this Mewtwo from other decks I saw, because I wasn't sure what other Pokemon I wanted here, but he is mainly in here. He's a great kind of what I call a stinger Pokemon. You know, for a basic Pokemon, of course, it's Mewtwo, so he's going to get a decent HP, but he's a really solid basic Pokemon, 130 HP, and then 20 base attack, and then 20 more for however many your energy have on him. And there's another reason why I have him in here too, specifically, is because if I come across any decks like Ninetales, the Alolan Ninetales, whose ability prevents all damage from GX Pokemon, then I really have to have him in here for at least that. But he's a great card late in the game if I just got to get like that extra 80 or so damage. If I can also throw Choice Band on here easily, I can get 100 damage off with this Mewtwo. So he's kind of a situational Pokemon, but still good enough to where I want to have him around. Tapu Koko, Flying Flip, I have won at least a half a dozen matches just with getting that extra 20 HP if another Pokemon has it on there. And then of course at the bottom there, no retreat cost. That is absolutely phenomenal. I can use Guzma when I want to and do the whole switcheroo thing with him. You know, not a lot of people are using this, but you know, I think it's really fantastic. I still think it's a really fantastic card. You know, actually, he is one Pokemon who I could switch out if I choose to take something out of this deck, but I think I am going to leave him in there. And I think that is all my Pokemon. So in the next clip, we will be going through all the supporter and item cards I'm choosing to use. So right here we have all the like, you know, the pull cards I have. You know, this has kind of changed up a little bit recently with Cynthia coming out in Ultra Prism. I'm only using 1 Professor Sycamore now. Cynthia is a fantastic card. We will see her a lot in the years to come. And then I'm rocking 3 Ns. Whether you love it or hate N, you got to have at least a couple in your deck, either late in the game or early in the game. Really, any of these combination of cards. The ones that shuffle your hand back in your deck, shuffle your opponent, you can really tweak around. I haven't seen like the perfect combination. You should have this many Cynthias, you should have this many Professor Sycamores. I've just experimented a lot, and this is kind of what I landed on, and this works really well for me. So yeah, there's really not much to say about these. I'm really happy. This is a special Professor Sycamore that was in not an Elite Trainer box, but one of the special theme deck ones I got a couple months ago. But yeah, let's move on to something a little more interesting. Here we go. This one's interesting. Definitely interesting when people talk. I am using 3 Acerolas. That is not an error. I think this is you know, a lot of decks are using 1 or 2. But I have used this card so many times late in a game, and people are just surprised that I have that many in my deck, because literally towards the end of a match, there are times where I can just keep using this turn after turn, throw out Tapu Lele, grab another one from my deck, and then my opponent just can't get the KO on me. This is an absolutely fantastic card. This also opens up the ability for me to use Lycanroc's Bloodthirsty Eye ability more than once, or many times more than once in a match. So I absolutely love this card. I think I'm going to be leaving that the same way it is. One thing that might be a little bit of a surprise is that actually not too much of a surprise at all. I am only using 2 Guzmas, that being that I do have Lycanroc, so I really don't worry too much about switching out my opponent's Pokemon, but it's still a very, very good staple to have. Over here, yes, absolutely one of the cards I love. I wish I had more room to put her in here, but if you are using Zoroark GX, I'm surprised when people don't use this card in their deck or don't have even one in their deck. Mallow, search for 2 cards, put them at your top of the deck. If you got Zoroark, or I also can use Octillery, you can basically search your deck for any card you need late in the game, early in game. I'll talk about one of my favorite combos. I'll be getting to that in a second, but using Mallow, and then if you have puzzle time or something, you can get 2 puzzle times right away. Maybe you're trying to search for something from your deck. I have done that combo so many times. Yeah, a personal favorite. Another shocking one might be, I'm only using 2 Brigettes. This has happened where they are both prized or something, but I haven't ran into that problem too many times. When I was just making room for things, that was the one area I was using 3 until recently, but I had to make some cut somewhere. But you know, it's just kind of a user choice thing. Those are all my supporter cards. So then really we're just getting through the tail end here. I'm only using, whoops, almost knocked that over. I'm using 1 Floatstone, 2 Choice Bands. Choice Band is a fantastic addition to the game. I love that they made something like this. Floatstone, yeah, could I use more? I've ran into many times where it's my prize face down card, but that's not too big of a deal, but it still is there in case I need it. Enhanced Hammer, I love it. If people can find room for more of these, you can absolutely screw over your opponent very very easily with these. Yeah, not much to say there. Let's just get to the end here. Rescue Stretcher, another fantastic card. I often will go for Tapu Lele or something if late in the game if I want to try to get Tapu Lele back out. Really the only card that I haven't decided if I'm going to keep in my deck, I have Devoured Field. This gives 10 more attack power to Zoroark GX. That's really the only card that benefits in there, or if I want to get rid of an opponent's stadium card out on the field. That's really the only reason why it's here. This is the only card that's up for question, but the thing is, like I said earlier, Zoroark's attack, even at full capacity, if I have 5 cards on the bench, that does what? That is 120 damage for every Pokemon I have out there, and I can get out that extra 130, and you'd be surprised how important that 10 extra HP can be for Zoroark. Or if I have that and a Choice Band, I can get 160 out there. But this is one of the only cards, this one and Tapu Koko, I haven't decided if I'm going to leave in there. Going towards the end here, we have 2 Field Blowers, absolutely phenomenal cards. Discard item cards from your opponent, and last but not least, a lot of things that we have over here. I am using the 4 Puzzle at times, and this is actually the card I'm going to be most sad when it goes out of rotation. It's just a very fantastic card. I don't think this rotation, I do think I'm going to do an entire video on this, my thoughts about the rotation that's going to happen later this year, because I know it's a little early to talk about it, but it's around this time, once I get past my regionals, I really start thinking about what cards I want to buy or I'm going to actually be using. But I do think we will be seeing 5 cards rotate out, the 5 expansions from XY, and then we'll be starting from Sun and Moon. I will do that in another video. I'm ranting about it, but absolutely love this card. You can get 2 cards from your discard pile, and like I said, this works very well with Mallow if you want to try to get 2 cards in your hand. But I think that's kind of it. I'll show my energy one more time because I didn't really show those that well. But yeah, this is kind of where I see these kind of videos going. If you have any recommendations or any tweaks you want to see in this deck, or if you think it's a good, you can absolutely, I didn't say this at the beginning of the video, you can be totally, all these videos that I do, these are completely my opinion based, so please share your own thoughts and opinions about it. I'm going to be doing, I think I'm going to start doing TCG online videos starting tomorrow, so I'm going to really show off a match or 2 of this deck. But this has been Pokemon TCG Daily. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're brand new, or you can click here to see yesterday's bonus video, or today's booster pack opening. I've also started an Instagram account for this channel, so I can share more thoughts throughout the day. And I'm sharing my Pokemon trading card online username as well. So I will see you tomorrow as always, and have a fantastic weekend, fellow trainers.